Hola, hola, hola. We are back with another episode of The Exchange. Oh,
El intercambio.
el Intercambio. Romina, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Exciting about like the World Cup and seeing all the matches. It's been really exciting.
Yeah. I know we had talked about it before. Turkey was your team. You were adopting them,
Yeah,
but they're not in it anymore, I think. So,
sadly.
Romina told me before we started that she's a big United States fan. We'll see if you're looking at it. Just kidding. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I think it's Morocco and Brazil, right? Is what you were saying?
Yeah, I would like them to win, or maybe any South American country. Really, it's my
Hmm.
preference.
Understandable. I won't take offense to it. I was telling Armina we're usually not very good at we call it soccer, not football, but surprising to see that we're still in the tournament
Yeah.
and advancing. So we'll see how that goes. But as you guys know, if you're new, we'll let you know. If you're returning, we thank you. This is part of Bamboo Languages, our community where we focus on language learning, cultural exchange, and really trying to provide useful language learning tips to you so that you can apply it in whatever capacity, whether a job search, an interview, maybe even traveling, things like that. And so we like to give back to the community. This is part of that, live and free. We look at English and Spanish, and today, as you can tell, we're in English. So just a little bit of that to get out the way as part of our intro, as we always do. Today, in continuation, we received a lot of positive feedback from our last session where we discussed more about, yeah, exactly. Shout out, hit the like, give us a subscribe. You know how it goes.
Subscribe, subscribe.
Exactly. Yeah, we looked at more how to stop recruiters from ghosting you with certain English tips and looking at how we can follow up to do so. So we're going to continue with that, and we're talking about resumes. There's a lot of back and forth with resumes. Obviously, there's some cultural differences between the United States and Latin America. So we want to help you level up your resume so that you stand out to recruiters and can ultimately get the job you want. So with that being said, Romina, um, maybe give the folks a quick intro, then tell us a little bit more about your experience creating a resume, problems that you've seen. How's it look like for you there in Lima?
hmm Well, I think like maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, here in Latam, we used to do like a big resume, maybe like 2 or 3 pages. And we used to put like our picture and maybe even like some graphic design, like a Canva template, like very colorful, like
Hmm.
maybe today it would be like cringe. but but nowadays it's like more like the clean your CV, your resume looks, the better. And
Hmm.
maybe like 1 to 2 pages, and yeah, and no pictures, of course. I think there's still some people that still like put pictures and everything, but
Hmm.
like I would say like the cleaner your resume looks, the better.
Yeah, understandable. I've seen that. So for the record, you might have saw in the last episode or previously, but I used to recruit at several different companies in US, Mexico, LATAM. So I saw a lot of resumes. And I haven't seen the resumes where people put their picture, a little profile up there. Sometimes they'll put like a long about me and a whole bunch of interests and things like that. Um, all cool. I recommend against it. Usually speaking, there's like a stat out there where recruiters look at your resume for 6 seconds and then decide to go. So we always coach our students in our interview accelerator program to really consider that and make it as easy as possible for the recruiter to identify what you're trying to convey, which we can get into how to do that. But yeah, definitely don't want to include too much extra. Some people would think it's like giving the person a well-rounded snapshot of yourself and your interests, but you can do that on the phone. They're not hiring for your personal interest. You know what I mean? I know we like to see Turkey or Brazil win, but we don't want to put that on the resume. Um, so I'd recommend against it. Also, sometimes people have what we call implicit or unconscious bias, which basically means they select about things that aren't relative to the job. So you don't want to give somebody an extra reason by looking at your picture, for example, or other things that they might not align with to discriminate potentially against you, either consciously or unconsciously. So we always coach against that. But I have seen it. So did you do this back in the day? Did you make a cringe resume and share your profile picture out with the folks?
Maybe like when I was like fresh out of college, I don't know, like maybe 8 years ago or something, because that was like, let's say, the trend. And
Hmm.
here, sometimes even in Latam, like recruiters will say, "We need your picture. Like, send us a picture." That nowadays, if you
Interesting.
think about it, it's like it's so weird. Like,
That is weird.
why? Yeah, but nowadays, like I think I don't know, maybe 75 or 80% of people don't put their picture. That I agree with you. It's like mm, your picture or your looks doesn't relate anything with your capabilities or anything.
Agreed, agreed. And that's why I would say, when I was working at Google, we had a lot of students fresh out of school who did this. And if you think about your first job out of school, you don't have a ton of experience, so you want to make that like fill it up as much as possible. So I
Yes.
understand that, but sometimes I would recommend against it for those reasons.
Mhm.
For the students out there, pro tip: if you don't have experience, I would use like academic projects and maybe internships that could help out, opposed to filling it up with some of the personal things. So that's what I recommend. Don't do that. And it's in the U.S. and LATAM. Obviously, I've seen it. I'm sure in other parts of the world too. So there's one. Second is a quick aside. There are some more creative positions that require a little bit more creativity in your resume. Marketing's one of them, as you know, Romina. Like UX, or so user experience or user interface design, is another one where there's like a portfolio piece attached. And so sometimes you'll see a little bit more artistic resumes there, which is fine because it's role aligned. So all the tips that we give are like more so suggestions opposed to a hard and fast rule. But yeah, I think that, and then probably what you've seen as well, when you fix the resume a little bit, and or didn't work with a recruiter you thought was weird because they wanted to see your picture, it tends to work out better for you. Obviously, it's more of a numbers game. It's not like a guarantee, but I think some of those things are beneficial. So just to recap, for resumes alone, don't do the picture, if at all possible. Don't do a ton of extra information about like personal stuff and like music and travel. If you do personal information, put it at the bottom because it's not as important. So those are two tricks. Also, third, it's more of an art than a science. So if it is a creative position, obviously make a resume that aligns to the role that you're looking for. So those are the first couple. I think we can take a look at like what it looks like to actually approach it next. But one thing, people always say, I want a one-page resume. I don't want to put too much information. I think that's overrated personally. Again, that's my opinion, but to smash everything in one page isn't the most realistic as you start to get more
Yeah.
and more professional experience. So what we say is most important information first, make sure it's condensed and it's only useful information, not all the extra stuff, but it doesn't have to be one page. So we'll get to that next, but I wanted to show the folks something that might help you know where you're at for your interview, where you're at for your resume, and also job search. We've included some job search tips and tricks in there. So if you're in the chat, holla at us. I haven't seen anyone hop in there yet, but we have some viewers in the house. And take a look at this. We put together a little promo about calculating your interview readiness, your job search, and then we'll hop back in and discuss how to actually do it tactically.
Are you actually ready for an English job interview? We built a free test to show you exactly where you stand. Interview skills assessed across key areas, recruiters measure. Personalized gap analysis and recommendations. Framework used by our coaching team. English interview diagnostic. Stop guessing, start knowing.
Stop guessing, start knowing. Come let us know. Also, on that, I got a mustache. Maybe I should bring it back. Comment if you want to bring it back in that promo. We'll see. I get a haircut too. But before the break, we talked about, okay, it doesn't have to be one page, but we want to say the most important things first. A lot of students, candidates we work with, if they have an extensive like skills section or a bio, a dedicated, hardworking professional, I would hope so. But let's put that at the bottom, or just take it out and put your most important work stuff first. And then the one pager preference, but not as important in my experience. You just got to look for and know what you're looking for and find things that align to the role. So we'll look at that now on how to do it, and then we'll look at practical examples to help you and share a little sheet out. But first, what we always coach is using like active language or high agency language. So here's an example of what you would put in the resume that isn't good, and then one that you would put on that is good. The first would be, um, I was responsible for managing local social media accounts. Good. It shows that you were responsible. It's still using like an I verb, not we, which we talked about is like a cultural trap at times. And instead of saying my team was responsible, you said I. What I would change that to be a little bit more powerful to say something like grew organic social media by 43% in Q3 using data driven short form video strategy. Sounds a little bit better. Then we've also used some power verbs and some specific nouns, I would say, to describe or adjectives to describe the situation and objective feedback. So we said X, Y, Z at times, or you could put it into a formula where it would be I accomplished X by using Y, resulting in Z. So I accomplished or I spearheaded our marketing campaign using meta ads, resulting in 48% increase. That's kind of how we would say it, to make sure that those bullet points are the most impactful. Use the vernacular, the role specific vocabulary, the buzzwords within your answers. But that's how we would coach it to make sure those bullet points are super impactful. Romina, do you use that? Have you heard of that before? Talk to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, for my resume, I use like bullet points, but sometimes it's like hard to structure them, or maybe you have like way too much and you need to like make it shorter. So I think the structure you are giving is like really useful because you are using like metrics, like you said, role specific terms, and overall it sounds like way more professional than like the previous one.
Yeah, yeah. I think you make a good point about the bullet points being a little bit difficult to determine. One thing we also coach is like multiple versions of your resume. So let's say if you have a social media manager position, or you have a project manager managing multiple different accounts in marketing, we'd want two different resumes, and then we'd use those specific bullet points in each of the resumes. So that's kind of how I would say it. Looks like we got some dudes in the chat here. Shout out to a few of you. Ask some questions if you have them. We're here trying to make sure that you could level up your resumes. Um, with that being said, that way you could save some time in your actual job descriptions. You don't have to have everything there. You can make two or three different resumes and take some, leave the others. Um, but that's kind of how it would work. Have you done multiple different versions of your resume in the past, Romina?
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe adapt it to like different roles, to different positions, and try to use like different keywords from the job posting, like to
Yeah,
align with the offer in general. Yeah. It's like a little tedious, like making many versions, but I know like it's the right thing.
100%. Shout out to looks like Afton191. We got a like and sub in the house. We appreciate it. That helps obviously grow our channel and provide more of this resourcing to you. But yeah, very tedious. Requires a lot of edits, a lot of back and forth, I think, but also beneficial. So I had one hot take earlier with a one-page resume. I got another hot take for you. I talked to a lot of people, and I've seen it in the past where people say, well, I need to make sure that this is ATS friendly. Some people don't even know what that is, but it's applicant tracking system. So when you apply online, the resume comes through automated reviewer, and then you got to decide, okay, are they pass, fail? I think it's more important to make an impactful resume with the role specific requirements in the format that we discuss and we coach, opposed to trying to optimize for the online channel. If you look at an online application, we talked about it last week, there's hundreds of applicants. Sometimes you get screened out or rejected just because there's too much volume, opposed to your resume not being optimized. And so we think that maybe that is beneficial, but it's not as important as structuring it in the correct way for a recruiter to review, because usually your best chance is going to a recruiter directly, or at least working with them after applying online. So that's my other hot take. I think people get caught up in that. It's kind of like an industry buzzword, and also really closely aligned to some of the AI stuff we're seeing. So take that, we say, with a grain of salt, or consider the source here. But that's my recommendation. Have you heard of this ATS stuff, Romina? Have you tried to beat the system and make your resume pop out to the online bots?
I've heard about ATS, like I didn't know what each letter meant. But yeah, I understand that it was like a first filter, let's say. But yeah, no, I usually just do like my resume, like adapt it, have different versions. But I've seen like videos where people are like, yeah, just like copy all the keywords and put it in like white, and then like make it a PDF so it passed the ATS, and I don't know, stuff like that. That I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if that's true.
Everyone wants to sell their the get rich quick, right? To just copy and paste it and
Uh-huh.
beat the system. But that usually, like I said, doesn't work. Maybe it does for some people, but long term, I think it's worth the time to invest your work in the appropriate fashion. And similar to what we do in the interview accelerator, a lot of people will sell you a quick 1 day uh, boot camp to solve all your problems. Not the case. We're providing real value over an extended period of time with expert and live feedback, um, including resume review, that helps you kind of be prepared in a way that's more comprehensive than just let's copy and paste buzzwords into a resume and see if that works. So one of our key differentiators, and also again just our personal preference with how we position the product, but we don't do the get rich quick stuff on this side. Shout out if you feel me, Afton. I know you're still here giving us some love, so let us know if you agree with that. But recap, we like to keep it short, sweet. First and foremost, it is, let's not get too creative and too extra with your interviews or with your resumes. Romina said it's cringe, so you don't want her to think your stuff is cringe. Don't do that again. Uh, if it is a creative resume, consider how to do it in a way that makes sense and connects with your hiring manager. Portfolios as a separate link, for example, a more creative look. Third, the one-page resume myth is in fact just a myth. Don't feel obligated to do it, especially as you begin to get more and more experience. What we say is most important and impactful information first in the XYZ formula, which we shared an example of it. And then lastly, this ATS optimization and hack is overrated. Probably some good things that you can think about there, but not what we want to do on our side. It's live expert feedback, it's personalized coaching, it's great um, uh, exposure to cultural norms, so you know how to interview in different areas. And ultimately, we give you a comprehensive job search strategy, so you aren't looking at hacks and tips and tricks that don't really make sense and pay off. So, all that to say, those are our recaps. Like we try to give you actionable language learning and real tips to provide you with value for your search wherever you might be, or your journey wherever you might be. So those are some of them, including a formula. And you got an extra tip not to be cringed from Romina. So take that with you. Let us know what you think. Romina, did we recap everything? What else do you have for us that we can share with the folks?
Yeah, I think you recap everything. I don't know if in this recap you said about the picture, but no picture.
There you go.
just
No
to
picture. Don't do it.
just to remind that. And yeah, like bullet points with like the metrics and the structure you said, and like your, I don't know, introduction, like maybe like 1 2 lines max, because some people do like a big paragraph, and that takes like a big part of your resume. So.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even have it on mine. Yeah, just like name, LinkedIn, bang, bang, right into it.
Okay. All
So some
right.
people do, but yeah, not very long though. If you do it, again, more of an art than a science. Every role is different. Every person is different. Do what's comfortable for you. If you guys want, comment below when the thing, we're on live now, but when we post it, let's say this, Romina, we'll take a look at 5 resumes and get feedback for free. I'll put it in the comments
Yay.
below, and then follow up with me, and we'll have our team review it and make sure you're well prepared. Just again, as a thank you for viewing and let us know and supporting us in this channel. So we'll do that. Romina has something else for us, I believe, for I think the socials. So what would you say to the folks,
Yeah.
Romina?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Over there, we also share a lot of tips and tricks on English interview, business, just English in real life. And yeah, so follow us there, and also here on YouTube, subscribe. We do lives like every week, and also like share a lot of useful content. So yeah, subscribe.
No doubt. Subscribe. Romina has some cool stuff working. I think we're going to bring in some of our recruiting partners, maybe some candidates as well, to give you guys a great experience on what it looks like on the other side of the journey. So you're not just taking our word for it. Hint, we're hiring some people. People who come to our program are getting jobs in international companies. So we'll bring them in, see what they think, and you can ask them some questions. If you have any ideas for content, drop it. Either DM us on IG, drop it in the chat here, or on my comments. But other than that, we appreciate your time as always. We know it's valuable. We know the World Cup is going on, or El Mundial, no? Mundial la.
Sí, el mundial.
There you go. That's another good point. We got to do a Spanish episode. I got to get back on that. I've been saying it for a while. Ramina's going to get on me. So we're going to shout out to our Spanish community and do one of those, or maybe a bilingual one. But other than that, we will talk to you guys soon. We appreciate it. And los vemos pronto.
Bye. See you on the next episode.
See you next episode.